Good morning. This is the talk from Jethro's Baptist Church, and I'm Hetty. I want to read you a story which our pastor Richard read for you many weeks ago, but I think it's such a wonderful story we can read it again. And it's about Zacchaeus. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has come to be the guest of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I've cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." And the Son of Man is Jesus. He came to seek and to save the lost. Well, Zacchaeus was what we would call a collaborator with the enemy, with the Roman enemy. He would ask taxes for the Romans, actually, to his own people. And he was hated. And therefore, he thought, "I'd better hide from the crowd," and climbed into a tree because he was curious to see Jesus, of whom he had heard so much. And then Jesus looks up and he sees him in the tree and says, "Come down. I must stay in your house today." And this is amazing because Jesus was already well known, and Zacchaeus thought, "I'll never get a chance to speak to him personally, and I don't dare to speak to him personally." I think he thought that as well. So I'd better hide from the people, hide from Jesus. But now that Jesus is welcoming and says, "Zacchaeus, please, can I stay in your house?" Zacchaeus opens up his house and his heart, and he's changed. He's a changed man. He says, "Jesus, I have asked too much money from people and I will give it back. And if I've cheated anybody, I will pay back 4 times the amount." And Jesus says, "This man is saved. This man belongs to my own people now." He recognizes Jesus as his Lord, and he is saved by Jesus. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I was thinking of something I read just recently. There was someone who said, "I like so much the programs on television where there's an old house or an old piece of a castle or whatever, and there are new owners and they want to improve the place. And although we see the outside and think, 'Oh dear, nothing can make this beautiful. This is such a mess,' the persons who bought that place see in their mind, can imagine what it can be, what it can become, how beautiful it can become. And through the weeks, they are working and working and working, and finally, you can't imagine that the house or the little castle, or whatever comes from it, was the same building as the one before, which was in ruins. And that's a person who wrote about that said, "It's actually how God looks at us. We see what a mess our life is in. We make mistake, we can have caused ourselves to be in a mess. And sometimes we think of other people, oh, he really made a mess of it, or she really made a mess of her life." But Jesus sees how a person can be when they delight in his love and when they receive his grace. So Zacchaeus becomes a completely different man, a generous man who gives to the poor. He's completely changed. And people, I think, couldn't believe that that's the same Zacchaeus as in the beginning of the story, who was hiding from people. And he was just a nasty man, and nobody liked him. And now he's a man who loves other people. And it's all because of the love and grace of Jesus he received. And that's promising for every one of us, whatever situation you are in, that Jesus sees how we can be and become through him. So it's very important that we open up our lives to him and say, yes, Jesus, please work in me so that I can be the beautiful person you had in mind. I wish you a very good day and stay safe. Thank you.